Oh, well, hello there, everybody. We are going back to Walnut Creek. We're going to focus on the Runaway Jim for Randy here. And I was a little bit surprised, maybe even embarrassed, when I saw the date and the song. Even the venue, Walnut Creek, is one that I feel like is a venue that we should all kind of keep our eyes on and know things about. But this Runaway Jim somehow escaped me, and then here we go. Let's say it starts out like, all right, we're pretty normal. This is a second set opener. And so you're maybe expecting big things, although it was 1995. Things weren't too wild. It wasn't a ringer that you were going to get a big jam to open the second set every night. But on this night we did, and as they're going into Runaway Jim, Trey is the first one to kind of leave, and he's like, "Hey, I've had enough of Runaway Jim. Let's get a little bit weird." And got weird indeed. And then this was just 5 or 6 minutes in, and Trey's kind of doing his part, and then it's barely recognizable as Runaway Jim. Maybe the 8 or 9 minute mark or so, maybe even a little bit beyond that. Then it starts to cool off and quiet down, like. They still haven't really formed together as a band. It's almost like they're going one at a time. Fishman and Mike kind of seem to stay in the neighborhood of Runaway Jim mostly. And then somewhere around that 14, 15 minute mark, back in the middle, it seemed like maybe it was briefly, barely recognizable as Runaway Jim again. And then that's when Page takes his turn. The early part of the jam was just a lot of Trey and really just not a lot. They just couldn't quite connect. There would be a moment there, as even Trey had a little bit of that like taste sound to it. Maybe it was just some of the new stuff from that era and going on in his part of the jam. And then when Page starts to take over, maybe that kind of 14 to 20 minute range of the jam was probably my favorite part, and it had quieted down. Things were starting to space out a little bit, still staying weird though, as Page is kind of taking his shot to control things. And you start to get that like that sort of free swirling sound going on, maybe an indicator that free is still to come. And then so then Fishman and Page really got something going on. Mike's doing his job on the bass, but Trey just really wouldn't fully commit. He was just kind of just jumping in a little bit here and there, not really just going for it until then finally Page gives up, and then Trey really starts to go for it. I don't know. There was just never a moment where all four guys could connect and really go for it. And while it wasn't bad, this would definitely be high on the list of improv, even experimental, if you will. And kind of like a bit of a scary sound to it, maybe like a not quite as deep as evil, but maybe going for a little bit of a scary sound. And then Trey had a little bit of a big black furry creature sound. His most intense moments were there towards the end. Fishman, I guess, was like, well, we got to do something with this. So then Fishman starts to vocalize, maybe way, way back early on in the jam, too. You started to hear a little vocalizing from Fishman. And then the full band, it goes into a full-on vocal jam. Maybe one of my lead. Now, this wasn't like a YEM vocal jam situation, but still one of my, next to the big ball jam, I think vocal jamming is one of my least favorite things they do. And then they pick it back up a little bit, has kind of the final minute or so kind of works as they're trying to get their way into free. And then, boom, here comes free. And overall, I would say, it's hard to rate just one song. I wouldn't give it an A+. It wouldn't be like an all-timer for me. There's some really great Runaway Jims, but it would be up there. It would be high up on the B+ level. Definitely an A for effort. That maybe if they could have just cut off on some of the moments of long extended moments, really several minutes of not a lot going on where they weren't connecting. Maybe if you could have condensed this down to about 20 minutes and got rid of some of the nonsense, you might have had yourselves a top shelf A Runaway Jim. All right, guys, boom. Randy Behringer, thanks for taking me back. It was nice. Well, not one I loved that is going to go into the it's not going to go over here into the rotation, I suppose, but I'm glad I heard it. I checked that one off the list. I can now say I've heard the Walnut Creek Runaway Jim. 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 All right, guys, boom. We got a sick Bowie coming up, dude. Live Fish 94, December 29th day of the month, I believe.